Hello, some of my favorite people. Let's go to work on this, huh? We're gonna get ready for this test. So take really good notes and let's do this, and ask your little brother to leave the room. No be distracting. The puppy can stay though, even though the puppy's distracting. All right, here, let's do this. So what do you got? A lemon has about 1/8 cup of juice. How many lemons are needed to make 1.5 cups? So I'm gonna write the equation that goes with this because that even helps me, and that's what I'm looking for is the equation. So a lemon has 1 1/8 cups juice, so 1 1/8 cups juice. And let me write that down. So 1 1/8 cups juice. And how many lemons? So that's what I don't know. So 1/8 times how many lemons should equal 1.5. And if I know the multiplication problem, I know the division problem, because this answer comes to the front. So 1.5 divided by 1/8 should get me n. All right, so which ones match that one? Literally this one. And then the multiplication problem. You know what? This is actually it right here. This is the multiplication problem, because in multiplication you can do either order. You can, you can 2 times 3 is the same as 3 times 2. So that one works. These guys do not work. Awesome, thanks for playing. Number 2. Ooh, we can solve this using decimal. That must mean there's fractions, and we just want to keep it simple. Okay, a box. Okay, looks like we're finding volume, which is going to be length times width times height. So 16 times 22. Yeah. So 6 times 22. So that is a 2. 6 times. Yeah. Wait. I'm starting that wrong. I did build it differently on my notes. You can do 22 times 16 or 16 times 20. There we go. That's what I did. So 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 2 is 12 is 13. Okay, and this 1 is not a 1, it's a 10. So I'm going to drop a 0 down here. 1 times 2 is 2. I'm going to add all that together, and I get 352. All right, that's length times width. Let's go ahead and do the height now. So I've got 352 times 6 1/4. I turned it to 6.25. Keep it easy. 6.25. Now for multiplication, I'm going to ignore the decimal, and I'll put it in later. So 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 5 is 25. Plus 1 is 26. 5 times 3 plus 2 is 17. All right, now that 2 is not a 2, it's actually a 20, so I'm going to drop a 0 down. Now I'm going to start the math for that one. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 5 is 10. Carry the 1. 2 times 3 plus 1 gets me the 7. Okay, and that right there is not a 6, it's actually 600. So I'm going to put 2 zeros down to get me started. Now I'm going to start working the 6. 6 times 2 is 12. The 1, 6 times 5. The 1, 3. 6 times 3 plus 3. 21. I got to add all this gook together. Now, one thing I'm keeping an eye on is I'm just lining everything up. Make sure you do that so you don't lose track of what's happening here. Line everything up. And I end up with 22. Oh my goodness, look at all those. A lot of zeros. I'm going to come back to my place values and see, make sure I put my decimal in the right spot. I have 2 place values after the decimal, so I'm going to move my decimal 2 places. So, what is the volume? It looks like it is 2,000. 200 inches. Volume is going to be to the 3rd power. Yay. All right. Let's do this one. Let's find some space for these guys. How many groups of 1/2 centimeters are in 4.5 centimeters? So my multiplication problem is how many, right? N, because I don't know how many, of, which is multiplying 1/2. How many 1/2 are in 4/5? There's my multiplication problem. And if I know my multiplication problem, I can find my division problem. So 4/5 divided by 1/2. So I'm going to keep my first number. I'm going to change it to multiplication. I'm going to flip the second number or do the reciprocal. And it looks like I can't do any cross simplifying, so I'm just going to go ahead and multiply. 4 times 2 is 8. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 goes into 8 once with 3 left over, so it's 3/5. So 1 3/5. Yay! All right, let's try the second problem. How many centimeters are in 1 1/4 groups of this? Oh, so this is the groups. There's my multiplying. Ooh, this is not a division problem because I'm not dividing it up. I'm actually multiplying this out. So don't just dive right into dividing. Just like really look at it and see if it's true, because this is 1 1/4 groups of 1 3/5, and that's going to get me how many centimeters? All right, let's make them improper, because we got to multiply the whole thing, so the best way to get the whole thing is to make them improper. So 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1, so I have 5. Ooh, that's terrible. I have 5/4 times 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3. I see 8/5. And I do not need common denominators for multiplying fractions, but I can cross simplify. All right, so 5 over 5 equals 1 over 1. 8 over 4 equals 2 over 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. The answer is 2. That's how many centimeters. Yay. Let's move along. If you need to take a break, please do that. But then come back, please. Come back. Don't just leave me in your living room talking all by myself. All right, number 4. Make an equation for each and solve. So a builder's building a fence with 5.5 inches of wood, okay? How many boards is needed to make this fence? All right, so there are 5.5 each times a certain number that I don't know, and that's going to equal 176. So I also then know the division problem. All right. So this guy right here, I'm going to run out my division. I'm going to actually, you can solve using decimals, because I'm going to turn this to 5.5. So 176, my first number is what goes inside the box. So I'm going to do it over here, 176, and I'm going to do 5.5. All right, I can have decimals inside here, totally okay, but I cannot have them out here. So I need to clear the decimals outside of the box. So that moves it over 1. This moves it over 1, gets a 0 as a decimal place. Put my decimal up in my answer, and let's go to work on this one. 55 goes into 1 0 times, goes into 17 0 times. 55 goes into 176. I don't know. I'm going to just try some. I'm going to try some things. So 55 times 3 is 165. Is that close? Can I sneak it? No. I think that's it. All right. So 3 times. All right. 55 times 3 is 165. 176 minus 65 is 11, so I'm going to carry the 11 over. So 55 times 110, that's too many. Let me try 55 times 2. 2 55s is, 110, which is 110. Ding! 32. I think the answer is 32. What's it asking? How many boards? It's 32 boards. Yes, 32 boards. Sweet bucket of lava. Let's move along. Number 1. Looks like we got a division problem. All right, let's make them improper to start with. That'll be step 1, making them improper. So 5 times 2 is 10 plus 3. So that gives me 13/5 divided by 4/5 is good. And I don't need to divide fractions anymore. I just do some multiplying. So I keep my first number because it's what I have. I can't change that. Change it to multiplying, and I flip my second number, 5 over 4. And I could do some cross-simplifying. Ding, ding, ding. 5 over 5 is equal to 1 over 1. I can take any numerator with any denominator and simplify that. So I'm left with 13 times 1 is 13. 1 times 4 is 4. 13/4. 4 goes into 13 3 times with 1 left over. Woo-woo! Yay. Way to go, you. Okay, 19 over 21, that's already a fraction. Okay, we're good to go. But we're going to change this to a multiplication problem. 19 over 21, keep that. Don't change that. But change that to multiplying, and I'm going to flip this. Ooh, we can cross-simplify early. 3 over 21 is equal to 1 over 7. All right, 19 times 1 is 19. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 goes into 19 2 times with 5 left over. And there's my answer. Bada bing, bada boomski. All right, let's write a multiplication problem. Okay, we got a bucket. A bucket contains 3.5 gallons of water, okay? And it's 3/4 full. So this is not the size of the bucket, it's just what's in there. So I do not know the size of the bucket. So it's 3/4 of something is 13.5. And if I know my multiplication problem, I can find my division problem. And that's what we're going to use to solve this. So 13 and a half, make it improper. 13 times 2 plus 1, I should end up with 27 over 2. Divided by 3/4. I'm going to keep my first number. I'm going to change it to multiplying. I'm going to flip the second number. Ooh, look at the cross simplifying we can do here. This is beautiful. 4 over 2 is equal to 2 over 1. 27 over 3 is equal to 1 over 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 1 times 1 is 1. My answer is 18. Nicely done. All right, next problem. Number 7. Time for a snack. Go get a snack. I'm going to go get a snack. No, I'm not going to get a snack. I'm just going to keep working. Lena is 4.5 feet tall. Her baby brother is 7.5 feet. Okay, how many times as tall as her brother is Lena? Okay, many students just read on that and just get a little tripled over yourself. Like you're like, I don't know what's happening. Tripled over yourself. I'm not sure what that means, but I just said it, so let's go with it. So instead of getting tripled over yourself, let's do this. Let's just talk through it. How many times? I don't know. As tall. So that's like multiplication. Her baby brother, what's her baby brother? Is 1 7/8. Is, which is an equal sign, Elena, which is 4.5. Okay, folks, if you know the multiplication problem, you know the division problem. I do. I mean, you do. So let's do it. 4.5 divided by 1 7/8 is going to get me my number. Okay, make it improper. 4.5 is 9/2. Divided by 8 times 1 plus 7, that's 15/8. Okay, let's keep that first number. Let's change it to, let's flip it to the reciprocal. And can we do any cross simplifying? We can. Let's see, 8 over 2 is equal to 4 over 1. 9/15. It does, 3 goes into both of them. So 9 over 15 equals 3 over 5. Okay, 3/4 equals 12. 1 times 5 is 5. So 12/5. 5 goes into 12 twice with 2 left over. Yes. Sweet bucket of lava. All right, next one. Same thing. What fraction, I don't know what fraction, of Elena's height, we know her height, is, that's an equal sign, her baby brother's height, which is 1 7/8. Look at that beautiful multiplication problem. Let's turn it into a beautiful division problem. 1 7/8 divided by 4.5 equals n. Okay, 1 7/8, make it improper, which is 15/8. Divided by 4.5, make it improper, which is 9/2. Let's go ahead and turn this into a multiplication problem. Keep that first number, flip that second number. Oh, look at this. More cross simplifying. 2 over 8 equals 1 over 4. 15 over 9 is equal to 5 over 3. 5 times 1 is 5. 4 times 3 is 12. 5/12. Bing! Nicely done. You guys are amazing. Let's keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop. Okay, maybe stop for a minute. No, let's not stop. Let's keep going. All right, so for multiplying decimals, my little ditty is I encourage people to just ignore the decimals and multiply by the numbers. So 2 times 3 is 6. And let's get the decimal in the right spot. Let's count the decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my decimal's got to go 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, got my zeros in the placeholders. Oh, that's good. All right, let's do the next one. 2, which I'm ignoring the decimals, so it's actually 2 times 4, which is just 8. Let's get these decimal places. I got 2 to the right of the decimal, so I got to move it 2 decimal places. So I got an 8, and I go 1, 2. And there's my answer. Right? Not too shabby. You got this. So 22 times 5. All right, so 22 times 5 is 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 2 is 10. 1, so it's 110. Da-na-na, 110. Watch that decimal. I only have 1, so I'm going to move it over 1 place. My answer is actually 11, or 11.0. Those mean the same thing. Let's move along. 8 times 12. Mr. Robert, did you just ignore the decimal? I did, because that's how I do this. So 8 times 12 is 16. 8 times 1 plus 1 is 96. So my answer is 96, but let's get the decimals. Whoa, decimals. I got 1 there and 1 there, so 2 total. So let's move it 2 places. 1, 2. My answer is 0.96, or 96 hundredths. 25 times 4. Oh, 25 times 4, that's 100. There's 100. Yeah, that's 100. Decimal places would be, there's 1. So I just got to move the decimal over 1 place. The answer is 10. 2.5 times 4 is actually 10. Holy beans, look at this one right here. I've got 3 times 6. So 3 times 6 is 18, right? Yeah, 18. But I got a whole lot of decimal places to go here. So I've got 18, and let's count these decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got to go 7 places. So hang on to your socks. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to check that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There it is. Ding! There's my answer. Nicely done. You got this. All right, adding decimals. These also aren't so shabby. You just have to make sure you line up the decimal place, and you can put either one on the top. Either one, it doesn't matter. You'll end up in the same location. Either one ends up. So you can put the bigger one on top if you want to. I tend to do that, but you don't have to. You and me, we're going to end up in the same spot no matter which one we do, because we're going to put zeros in as placeholders. So I need to get a 0 in here. Let's go ahead and add this up. 0 plus 9 is 0. 8 plus 2, 8, which is 10. 6, 7, 8, and I got a 9 and a 4. And the decimal just falls right into place. 49.9. That's how we line them up. And don't be all crazy about writing your numbers all over the place. Keep them lined up. Keep track of them. So for this one, I am going to put the bigger number on top. Oh, but that's not my number. So that's not going to help. 34.201. And then 2.039. Notice I'm lining up the decimals so I can keep track of this stuff. All right, 9 plus 1. I got a 4. I got a 2. I got a 6. I got a 3. And my decimal just falls right into place. And that's nice and reasonable. 34 plus 2 more is going to be around 36. Totally reasonable. All right, what am I going to do on this guy? I'm going to put the bigger number on top. But again, you don't have to. It all lands in the same spot. Let me get a 0 as a placeholder. Let's solve this. 0 plus 7 is 7, 8. Not a lot of carrying over here. It's not a lot of practice for carrying. Drop the 0 into place. That's reasonable. I got just over 5, and I'm adding a little bit more, but not quite a full one. Yeah, nicely done. Nice and reasonable. What's next? What do we got? Subtraction, yay! All right, so how this is similar to addition in the sense that you are lining up the decimals, but the first number is what you have, so that has to go on top. That is a requirement. All right, I'm gonna start writing smaller because I need a lot of space to do this, and I'm gonna go 18.3, 4.67. So on this guy, you might have to do a little bit of borrowing. I'm gonna get a 0 as a placeholder, and let's go to work on this. 0 minus 7. Nope, can't do it. I got to borrow from the 3. The 3 becomes a 2. I'm bringing 10 over. It's kind of like taking a dollar and turning it into dimes. So I have 1 less dollar, but I have 10 dimes added to whatever is already there. So 10 minus 0 is 3. All right, I got 2, and I need to take away 6. Not enough. So I got to go to the 8, bring it down to 7, bring 10 over. I now have 12. So that's 6. 7 minus 4 is 3. Drop 1 down. And for this guy, drop the decimal down. And there's my answer. Next one, 31.24 minus, okay. Get that 0 as a placeholder. Let's go to work. We're gonna have to do some borrowing. Careful with the borrowing on these. So the 4 becomes a 3, and that becomes a 10. All right. 3 minus 6, not enough. I'm gonna borrow from the 2. So now I have 13. Minus 6, okay. All right. Oh, yeah, 13 minus 6. Okay, got 7. All right, 1 minus 8, not enough. Got to borrow from the 3. So there's a 12. All right. 13, okay. 11, 8, 9, 12, which is 3. And then I just got a 12 left over. Drop the decimal down. All right. Good stuff. Let's keep going. I don't know if I did that right. You check your math on that one. I'm going to have to come back and look at that one again to see if that's true. Because I think I have something a little bit different on that one. All right, let's do the next one. Okay, 0.7's on top. Okay. 0.321. Yep. Get my 0 as placeholders. Ooh, this is a borrow. Okay. 7 becomes a 6, that becomes a 10. 10 becomes a 9, and there's a 10. Okay, 10 minus 1 is a 9. 9, 8, 7. 6 minus 3 is 3. Drop the decimal down. Okay, that makes sense. All right, I'm going to go over here. 12.4 minus 2.63. Get the 0 placeholder. Got to do a little borrowing, so 4 becomes a 3, the 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. 3 is not enough. Got to borrow from the 2. 13 minus 6 is 7. For this guy, I'm just going to look at it as 11. 11 minus 2 is 9. Drop the decimal down. That's nice and reasonable. All right, cool beans. Subtraction. Line up the decimals. Put zeros as placeholders. The first number is what has to go on top, required. And drop the decimal into place. Holy moly, look at all these division problems. Woo! We must be needing to practice these. Yikes. Okay, for division, the first number is what goes in the box. That's what you're dividing up. All right, a lot of decimal, a lot of math going on here. So 403.2 divided by 8. Now, I can have a decimal inside here, so I'm going to leave this alone. I just can't have decimals out here. So this one is good to go. Let's go to work on this. So 8 goes into 4. I'm going to put the decimal in here so it's all done. 8 goes into 4 0 times. 8 goes into 45 times with 0 carrying over. 8 goes into 3 0 times with 3 left over. 8 goes into 32 4 times with 0 left over. There's my answer. 50.4. Nice. All right, next one. Boop. No, I'm not going to do lines because I need that space. So 49.98. 49.98 divided by 14. Do not need to clear any decimals because they're all good to go. All right, let's go to work. 14 goes into 4 0 times. 14 goes into 49 3 times with 7 left over. 4 goes into 79 5 times with, it looks like, how many left over? 14, I don't even know. I don't remember. 14 times 5, 20, 2, 5, 6, 7, 70. Oh, 9 left over. Okay, so 14 goes into 98. Oh, 7 times. Boom, done. Bing! No remainder. If there was a remainder, though, we can do it. We just put a 0 on the end and keep going. All right, so this one is 73.96 divided by 4.3. Oop, we got a decimal. We got to clear it. So whatever we do to this one, we got to do here. This actually does not change the problem at all. We just clear the decimal so we can solve it a little easier. 43 goes into 73 0 times, or 7 0 times. 43 goes into 73 1 time with 30 left over. So let me change the color so we can see it. So 309. So 43 goes into 309 a bunch of times, like 7 times. I did this math earlier just so I can keep track of it. So it goes into it 7 times. 43 times 7. Okay, good with that one. All right, how many do I carry over? 43. I don't remember. 43 goes, I don't remember that. So I'm going to run it over here because I get to see how many left over. And that's all set. And I got a little bit, I do have a little bit of leftover. 43 times 7, carry the 1. Let's see, 43 times 7 is, looks like, 43 times 7 is like 300, okay. 301. Oh, so 309, so actually I have 8 left over. Okay, 43 times 7 is 301, which is 309, okay. I have 3 left over, okay. How many 43s are in 86? There's just 2 of them. So that one is all done, all set. That's the answer. Next one. Thanks for hanging in there, guys. If you need to take a break, you should. I know it's a long video, but the practice is so worth it. In fact, listen to me as a chipmunk. Turn me up to like double speed so you don't have to like sit through all this. Next one is 34.75 divided by 0.2. Good stuff. Gotta clear the decimal, clear the decimal. All right. Awesome. All right, where are we at? Okay, 2 goes into 3 once with 1 left over. 2 goes into 14 7 times with no left over. 2 goes into 7 3 times. 2 times 3 is 6 with 1 left over. 2 goes into 15 7 times. 2 times 7 is 14. There's 1 left over, so I got to put a 0 here, and so we got to deal with that remainder. I can put as many zeros as I want at the end, but eventually I'm not going to need them. 2 goes into 10 5 times. Done. There's my answer. We got one more. Good. We can do this. Okay, 650.54 divided by 0.04. Again, we can have decimals inside here, but not outside here. So we got to clear the decimals. Let's do some clearing. 1, 2. 1, 2. Get the decimal up there. So I've turned my problem into, looks like 65,054 divided by 4. Let's figure out how many times it goes. 4 goes into 6 1 time. I got 2 left over. 4 goes into 25 6 times. That's 24, so I got 1 left over. 4 goes into 10 twice. 8, I got 2 left over. 4 goes into 25 6 times. We already did that one. Looks like 1 left over. 4 goes into that. Okay, 3 times. I got 2 left over, so I got to put a 0 in there. I got 5 times. And there's my answer. Oh my goodness, we got 1 more left over. Okay, miles per hour. Okay, miles per hour. I'm going to write my ratio. Miles per hour, so I can keep track of what's going on. So how many miles did they go? 6 miles. How many hours? Okay, 1 1/3. All right, my ratio, this is a division problem. So let's set it up as a division problem. 6 divided by 1 1/3. Let's solve this. 6 over 1 divided by, we got to make this improper. 1 1/3 is 4/3. Let's keep this one. Let's change it to multiplying. Let's flip it. Can we cross simplify? We sure can. 6 over 4 is equal to 3 over 2. Now we can multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. 1 times 2 is 2, so 9 halves. 2 goes into 9 4 times with 1 left over. And there's our answer. Whew. And there's our answers. All right, make sure you guys keep studying. Keep getting ready for this test. You got this. All right. I'm going to go see if I can talk my neighbor into buying a monkey with me.